So there I was, day 3 of an active investigation. The on-site team is, they're still out there, literally in the dirt, mapping out physical evidence, taking photos, trying to figure out why a haul truck just decided to slide off a haul road. And back in the air-conditioned glass tower, the boardroom is in an absolute cold sweat panic. I get this buzz on my phone, and it's the CEO's assistant. "Cam, mate, we need a single bullet PowerPoint slide for the board. Just tell us the cause. Is it operator error? We need to put something out to the regulator and the media by 5 p.m. They wanted a single throat to choke on a slide deck before we'd even finished collecting the telemetry data. This is what I call the ego trap of premature certainty. There is this deep-seated, systemic belief in the executive ranks that saying, "I don't know yet," is a sign of weakness. It's like if they can't point a finger in 72 hours, they think the market will smell blood. But here's the reality. When you force investigators to give you instant answers, you're not getting truth. You are forcing them to rush into the cheapest, easiest, most recycled finding in the history of safety. The operator failed to follow procedures. You close the book, you satisfy the board's ego, and you change absolutely nothing. The exact same system design that set that operator up to fail remains completely untouched, waiting for the next bloke to walk into the trap.
But there's an antidote to this madness. You don't have to choose between defensive, stone-cold silence, which, let's be honest, the frontline team always interprets as management abandoning them, and making up a simplistic lie just to fill a slide. You use a structured, staged communication model. Stage 1. The immediate empathy statement. You acknowledge the event. You show you care about the people, plain and simple. Stage 2. A rock-solid commitment to process transparency. You tell everyone exactly how you are going to investigate, using a systemic framework like ICAM. And Stage 3. Ongoing systemic updates. You share what you are learning about the environment and the tools as you go, without naming names or playing the blame game. This protects your legal privilege, it keeps the brand intact, and most importantly, it keeps the vultures off your investigators' backs. But of course, the slide deck warriors don't want that. They want a neat little box they can tick. They want human error because it's cheap and it doesn't require them to look in the mirror. It takes real executive backbone, the kind of leadership that is vanishingly rare these days, to stand up to a panicked board and say, "No, this operation is a complex system. This failure did not happen in a vacuum. It is too complex for a quick fix, and we are going to give our investigation team the breathing room they need to look at the system, not a scapegoat." That's the difference between managing liability and actually managing risk. When you actually get that breathing room, what you find is never a single neat line of dominoes. Real incidents are what we call non-linear systemic failures. Look at the solar farm case study from the SafetyWise workbook. A high-voltage electrician terminates 5 feeder cables into the wrong cubicles in a substation. On paper, if you're a lazy investigator, you write down, "Electrician misidentified cables. Failed to test for continuity before terminating. Action. Discipline worker." Job done, right? Except when you actually map it out using a PIPO chart, you find a whole fog of hidden systemic factors. Let's look at the actual facts. The planned cable route was completely blocked because some concrete footings were poured right in their path. So the cable laying team had to make an on-the-fly decision to reroute. Because of a massive silo mentality on site, the design drawings of the substation were never forwarded to the subcontractor, so they're working blind. On top of that, there's severe time pressure. Contract timings were so tight that the head contractor didn't allow any project time for a proper review of the scope of work. The subby was only given a quick verbal brief that didn't even mention testing after termination. Oh, and because of COVID travel restrictions, the client's independent electrical QA expert couldn't get to site, and the client didn't bother sourcing an alternative. So you have an unlabeled, rerouted cable pathway, no drawings, no formal process for testing in the scope, zero on-site QA, and a supervisor who relies entirely on verbal instructions. The electrician didn't even know testing was required under this specific scope. He relied on his previous experience where testing and labeling were always completed as a separate second phase by a different team. When you look at the Swiss cheese model, The active failure of the electrician terminating without testing is just the final, tiny nudge that aligned the holes in the system. The real, latent conditions, the lack of design control, the contract deficiencies, the missing QA, were sitting there, fully approved by leadership, months before the electrician even picked up his tools.
That is why we have to stop arguing about job titles on LinkedIn. Whether you're an HSE advisor or a safety business partner, and actually start fixing these broken systems. If your corrective actions are just writing another administrative procedure or telling workers to be more careful, you're not doing safety. You're just doing paperwork to protect the corporate ego. Real safety always means designing systems that are error-tolerant. It means having the courage to follow the evidence wherever it leads, even if it leads straight back to a bad decision made in a comfortable boardroom months ago. Anyway, that's my rant for the day. Good chatting, mate. Speak soon.